So, a day or so ago, I talked about a shipping headcanon video where I talk about some of my ships and their my favorite headcanons for some of the ships. Well, I decided, fuck it, you know what, let's do a sequel to that video. I really wanted to do, like, a fun little sequel to that video and just kind of, you know, play around with it. So, as always, tell me in the comments below, what are your favorite ships' headcanons? Like, what do you imagine they are like as a couple? Anyway, so the last time I talked about, like, Pen and Sashi from Pen Zero Part-Time Hero, I talked about Luz and Amity, I talked about Dipper and Wendy, I talked about Starling and Repton. So we're going to talk about a few others we're going to, like, I'm going to give my thoughts on a few others that I have. Starting off with the image you probably saw in here. That is Toko Fukawa and Komaro Naegi from Danganronpa. I really like these two. I really enjoy these two characters. I think they're adorable, and I love the interactions between them. It's also a lot more healthy than Toko with Byakuya. It's way more healthy. It's very, like, it's almost like healthy in the sense it's like Harley and Ivy in a way, almost. But yeah, so my headcanon for them is that my headcanon for those two is that Komaro is in love with both Toko and Genocider Sao. So and Toko are two vastly different personalities, but Toko is in love with both of them. So my headcanon is that she basically sets up go on dates with, sometimes she goes on dates with Toko, and then she makes dates with So as well. That's how I kind of imagine is that Toko, because the whole thing is like she loves, like, to be in love with someone, you gotta love all of them, even the parts that are just a wee bit fucked. So basically that kind of takes the idea of, yeah, I love both of you. So sometimes she has dates with Toko, sometimes she has it with her darker persona. So that's my Komaro and Toko one. Alright, so the next one we're going to talk about real fast is Odd and Yumi from Code Lyoko. I prefer them. It's a more healthier relationship, but I've talked about, like, the absolute toxicity that Ulrich and Yumi admit from each other, and I feel like Odd and Yumi are not only way less toxic, but also, like, it would be a much healthier relationship. So my headcanon for those two is that Odd, basically, we all know Odd's a man whore, right? Like, we all know he is the definition of man whore. But the thing of it is that I would have it that Odd, basically, when he starts to get serious about wanting to date Yumi, he tries to abstain from, you know, other women, and it's like driving him nuts. Because, like, he keeps getting DMs from other women. He's just like, stop! I'm trying to be loyal. Like, he's just trying to furiously delete all these phone numbers and whatnot, and he's just fighting for his life because he knows Yumi can be jealous. So he's, like, desperately trying to, like, stay loyal because he's trying to, like, fix himself for her. So that's Yumi and Odd. I would also say, another one I really like is that Odd really likes to, like, get, like, another headcanon I have for them real fast. I'll talk about this one real quick. Is that Odd really likes to get under Yumi's parents' skin. Like, they didn't like Ulrich, but they hate Odd. Like, they just, like, let's be real, they would straight up despise Odd. Like, they don't like Ulrich to begin with. They think he's just some punk kid. They would think Odd is the most obnoxious son of a bitch ever, and Odd would go out of his way to prove a point because he would be like, I don't fucking care. Like, he would go out of his way. Like, at first he would be like, well, you know, I'm dating your daughter and all that, and then her father, because of course it would be her piece of shit father, who would be like, you know, what's with your hair, and why are you so short? And he's like, why can't you pleasure your wife? So that's my that's my thinking, is that Odd just decides to be a shitbag to his potential future in-laws whenever he can, because like, I already know, like, my place at the table is not going to be high, so I might as well just accept it. I'm not like, I know your parents are shit, so I'm just going to be like, fuck you, fuck it, we ball. I'll talk about, actually staying on Code Lyoko, I'm actually going to talk about another of my other favorite ship from Code Lyoko, which is Ulrich and Sissy. Again, way less toxic, and I've done videos talking about Ulrich and Sissy before, where I feel like those two are way more compatible. I gotta say that word right. Compatible than they are with anyone else. So my one for Ulrich and Sissy is that Sissy, she will kind of like with like Odd and Yumi, is that with Ulrich's family, because his dad's a piece of shit, Sissy will like snap back. Like, I imagine Sissy is he asked for no pickles kind of relationship. So I could definitely see, like, whenever Ulrich's getting browbeat by his father, Sissy just comes in and is like, yeah, well, if he fucks me better than you do your wife, and everyone's just like, whoa! Because I imagine Sissy will go, like, she does feel that like a character who would be like 0 to 100 in a heartbeat when it comes to protecting her man. So, and I also feel like Ulrich, and this is also a solid headcanon as well, is that Ulrich, if like his dad turned on Sissy and yelled back at her, oh, he'd throw hands. I'm convinced he would fight for his woman. I'm convinced Ulrich would definitely fight for his woman. Yumi can handle herself, so can Sissy to an extent. But, like, I imagine, and we've seen it before, is that once his dad started talking shit about his friends, especially Yumi, we saw him, like, get back at him. So I imagine if he, like, started screaming at Sissy, Ulrich's going to throw hands. Like, he's just going to start... It's like, I don't care if I get kicked out. I'll go live with the Delmases. Fuck you. So, at least that's how I imagine it. So following that, our next ship I'm going to talk about is Mabel and Pacifica. I always like them more than Dipper and... I always like them together than Dipper and Pacifica, because I feel like Mabel and Pacifica, like, there was chemistry there. Like, rich girl and fun, the fun girl who gets her to come out of her shell. I like that a little more than Dipper and Pacifica. I really like... I don't know. I've talked about that before. But yeah, for Mabel and Pacifica, my headcanon is that basically Mabel essentially, like, she likes to knit sweaters for Pacifica, and Pacifica's just too nice to say no. Like, she can't say no, and she's like, yay, another sweater, you're awesome, thanks, sweetheart, oh, it's nice and itchy, I think I'm developing a rash from these, but it's okay, I like them, it's okay, don't cry. Like, I imagine that's how it would go, where, like, Mabel spends hours hurting her, like, stabbing herself with the knitting needles and trying to make the perfect one, and all it does is, like, she finds out Pacifica's just she has a skin allergy to the wool in the fabric, and then Mabel's just on the verge of crying, and Pacifica's just like, see, I'm wearing it, it's cool, it's fine, you're okay, we're fine. So that's another one. Another one, and this, we're gonna go cycle back to Stormhawks real fast. For Stormhawks, here's another ship I have talked about, is Finn and Susie Liu. And I know that's not a popular one, but by God, I will try. I swear it works. Trust me. But my headcanon for Finn and Susie Liu is that since Susie Liu is just a wee bit older than Finn, is that she basically is she's way more take the lead in the relationship, and Finn, and also, like, she puts Finn in his place whenever he tries to be like, hey, sweet thing, how about we heat things up? And she's like, cool, I'll get my pants off, and he's like, go, whoa, wow, I wasn't expecting that reaction, and here's Susie Liu just already getting her clothes. She's like, are you doing that? Are we doing this now, or what? And he's like, I need to go have an anxiety attack real quick. That's That admit it, Finn. Like it would be like that's the like Finn is the embodiment of I'm like a dog who caught the car. I wouldn't know what to do with myself the moment the thing happened. So that's so I imagine Susie Lou would be the one to be like, she's already getting her clothes, like Finn's already like trying to be like suave and you know debonair and say like some really spicy stuff, and then Susie would be like, bet, and then just start removing clothes, and he's just like, we're at a public park right now, and she's like, okay, and and she's like, don't be don't be using that tongue if you ain't going to be using it, in certain places. He's just like, at this point, Finn's already like a goddamn mess. So yeah. So there you go. My next one, the next one we're going to talk about is Ed and Marie, Double D and Marie from Ed, Nettie. Which I've talked about before, is like the original ship. I really like. That was my first understanding of shipping. Double D and Marie, I imagine that one is that basically we all know how the Kanker sisters are ridiculously strong. We are all aware that they are ferociously strong. But my headcanon is that Marie kind of just basically limits herself. Like, she understands like how like fierce she can be, so whenever she's around Double D and knows how fragile he is, she's just like, okay, I gotta be careful with how strong I am. I don't want to break the little fucker. That like, I feel like that would be the case, is that like Marie would always want to assert herself, but I also feel like she'd understand that like she's incredibly strong and Double D is incredibly fragile, so she has to like pace herself, if you know what I mean. I also like, I just feel like she would like realize how strong she is, and then she'd be like, okay, I need to back off, or I'm gonna he bruises like a fucking banana. I gotta calm down. I also think another thing that would be a cute headcanon for those two is that Double D and Marie like to trade music, but the thing is, Double D really likes like Paganini and Beethoven and Chopin and Salieri, and Marie's just playing all like Tool and Slipknot and fucking System of a Down and Ice Nine Kills, and they're like swapping music, and they're just trying their best to like enjoy each other's music, and they're like, no, it's fine. Yeah, oh my god, this sucks. So that's something I really enjoy. That's something I thought that one was another fun one. Anyway. Yeah. So I think that's enough for now. I might do a third one if this does well. I just thought these have just been fun videos. I've really been enjoying talking about these headcanons, and I'm just like, fuck it. These get views, and also I'm always curious to see what fun videos fun shipping you guys have in terms of what you guys would have on your end of the spectrum. Because yeah, I could go on and on about shipping. I could go on and on about all of that. But at the same time, I'm always curious to see what you guys have to say of what your favorite headcanons and what do you think those relationships would be like. I guess like one more for the road. Let me think. I think, actually, I'll give you this one. Is that it's another Ed Nettie one. Ed and May. My headcanon for Ed and May is that they do not do it. Like Ed and May quite literally don't understand what sex. They're too dumb to understand what sex is, so they've never had it. And meanwhile, Lee has kind of dragged Double D to the bedroom more times than I can count. And Lee is basically bribing Eddie with whatever she wants with what's between her legs. So May is just so innocent, and Ed is so innocent that neither of them have any concept of what or understanding of what sex is, that they just like to hold hands and kiss and think that's like, oh, we've gone so far. And all they do is just sit around and do nothing. Explicit. They're way too like innocent, and also the other Eds and Kanker sisters are like they want to explain like, no, but they just can't. Like, it's too sweet. Like, Eddie's tried multiple times to explain to Ed what the birds, the bees are, and Lee's just, no. We can't break them like we're broken. Anyway, so there you go, guys. That's pretty much all my headcanons for right now. I might do a third one, but yeah. But anyway, you guys tell me in the comments below, what are your favorite ships and what are your headcanons for them? Comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.